Greetings, fellow interlopers. Welcome to Whiskey Barrel Gaming. Today I'll be going over my 5 favorite rock-solid ways to make nanites in No Man's Sky. And I gotta say, my number 1 is by far the easiest and most reliable method I still use when I'm needing a little nanite infusion. But if you want a little boost to your unit count, you'll be happy to know that some of these methods will yield units as well as nanites. Let me first give a shout out to our beloved runaway mold, which is harvested from curious deposits. These are extremely random, so I did leave them off the list. But if you do happen to come across some, make sure and make a base, and these will respawn whenever you leave the area, so they're truly the gift that keeps on giving. They refine into nanites at a 5-to-1 ratio. The process kind of takes a while, so I find it best just to throw them in a refiner on my freighter and collect them later on. With that out of the way, let's jump in. Starting off at number 5. You want to go into your galaxy map and look for systems with the word dissonant in it. Once inside the dissonant system, you'll look for planets with the descriptor saying dissonance detected. Now once you land, all you'll need to do is scan around for radiant shards. And once these are harvested, you can then throw them in your refiner for 50 nanites each. The process can go even quicker if you have your favorite exocraft, so make sure and have that orbital exocraft materializer installed on your freighter so you can call it into any system that you share your freighter with. Number 4 is an early game method that you can pull off if you've added some shield mods to your exosuit, or, if you just happen to be nimble enough to pull it off. The good news is, it'll only cost you nav data, which you'll find lying around at any inhabited space station, as well as any minor settlements you'll come across. When you see these little glowing cubes, make sure and pick them up. But personally, I prefer to acquire them from trade outpost terminals. It's a great way to stock up on these. It's definitely worth installing an economy scanner in your ship so you can find these trade outposts easily. Keep in mind that not all outposts will have them, so keep scanning for a new outpost if you come up empty on your initial search. Once you have a fair amount of nav data, you can then trade these in for charts from the cartographer at the space station. Once there, look for distress signal maps and buy as many as you're able. Overall, there are 4 different signals that these maps will point you towards: an observatory, 2 different kinds of distress signals, an abandoned building, and lastly a crashed freighter. Just focus on the abandoned building for right now. These buildings are surrounded by whispering eggs, which, once you hit them with a mining laser, they'll yield a larval core. But you gotta be quick to pick them up because they will despawn. And the only catch is, you have these super annoying creatures that want to kill you. Over the years, I've tried all the tricks for harvesting these things. I've done the base computer wall trick. I've done the terrain manipulator wall trick.
Hello there.
I've done the hole digging trick. But honestly, if you know how to move around in a circular motion, you can just laser a few at a time, pick them up, and dodge most of the incoming attacks. Worst case scenario, just duck into the building and let your shields recharge. Once the dust settles, you should have around 14 eggs. Each egg refines into 50 nanites, so you're rewarded with 700 nanites for, not a lot of your time. I would venture to guess that this is your best rate of return on your time investment. Sound off down below if you believe you can make more nanites consuming less time using a different method. I'm honestly curious. Moving on to number 3. Derelict freighters are a great way to boost nanites by collecting all the tainted metal inside. To find a freighter, you need an emergency signal scanner. Helios on the Anomaly will give you 1 scanner per week. Otherwise, you can buy one at any space station scrap dealer for 5 million units. It's pricey, but well worth it with the loot you get. If you're looking to just buy one and use it forever, a little trick that still works is to activate it and then stash it in your personal refiner. Once you get to the freighter and open the door, it would ordinarily disappear from your inventory, but not if it's in your refiner. You're welcome. If you're only interested in tainted metal, you'll find these little briefcases scattered about. But chances are, if you're here already, you're going to just make your way through the freighter and loot everything. This is a fun and mostly safe way to collect tainted metal, as well as other random mods you can sell for nanites. Freighter layouts and the threats lurking inside are completely unique to a particular system. So if you've run through one in a given system, all the rest for that one system will be identical to that one. The key is finding a freighter that's not full of too many threats, which will slow you down. It's better to make a base in an easy freighter system and then return there whenever the mood for looting a derelict freighter hits. This particular one that I'm doing right here on screen only has these little jellyfish in it, so if you want an easy freighter, feel free to drop by this system in the Isdorjang galaxy. And if you're looking for freighter upgrades, once you get to the end, the engineering terminal will give you an option to accept a random freighter fleet upgrade, a cargo bulkhead to expand your freighter storage, or you can accept nanites, which to me, it's never really worth it when you compare the value of the first two. Once you get some tainted metal though, it refines straight into nanites at a very friendly ratio of 1 to 2. One quick thing to note about derelict freighters is that you can streamline your runs because you don't need to worry about turning in the captain's log and the crew manifest for nanites or tainted metal. It looks like they don't do that anymore, so feel free to ignore these. Okay, on to number 2. We're going back to our distress signal maps, but now we're going to turn our attention to the distress signals, which will direct you to a crashed ship. One will have a pilot roaming around, and one will not. As you approach your first distress signal, try to spot a pilot before you even land. If you see someone waiting to be rescued, just, do the right thing and turn back around and head to the other distress signal. Just move along. I'm sure someone will be by shortly. Once you land at the broken ship, head to the beacon and decide on a course of action. I generally go with anything in looting to technology. More often than not, you'll get a free mod that you can sell for nanites, along with the other mods you can get from scrapping the ship. Now make sure to claim the ship. If you want to repair the launch thrusters, feel free. Otherwise, I just hop back in my normal ship and head to the anomaly. From here, I'll summon the damaged ship. You'll notice that the launch thrusters have actually fixed themselves, and you can fly it to the space station for scrapping if you just happen to be doing one. If you're like me, you'll probably be scrapping multiple ships, so after you've collected more than one, visit the anomaly and fix each one by summoning it. Once you've summoned a damaged ship to the anomaly, it automatically makes it possible to summon at the space station. This really streamlines the process since you only need to make one visit to the space station. Not only will you get units from the scrapped items, you'll also get some mods that you can then sell to a dealer for, that's right, nanites. On average, you should land around 3 mods per ship. If it's an A or B class, all the better. If it happens to be an S class, well, go buy a lottery ticket. Now that we're at number 1, the assumption is this is more of a mid to later game technique, and our bank accounts are to the point where it's so big that it doesn't really matter, you just need nanites. So with a healthy bank account, you can just flat out buy your nanites. So head to your local outlaw system and check the black market vendor. Here you'll see a couple different mods you can actually purchase using units. Pass on the goods and go to the tech and the arms packages. Most of the time, these will turn into sellable mods. While you're here, you might want to lighten your financial burden and purchase all the black market goods. Lastly, don't forget to buy up any Haddle cores and Whispering Eggs, which are an easy 50 nanites each when you throw them in a refiner. Now all that's left is just head back to a normal system and offload all the black market goods you just bought for a tidy little profit, as well as those mods for a nice chunk of nanites. Easy peasy. So there you have it, folks. 5 great ways to boost your nanite balance. If you have a favorite method I didn't mention, please let me know and everyone else know down in the comments. So thanks for checking out Whiskey Barrel Gaming, everybody. As always, have an S-Class day.